Yahoo! Thanks for clicking on this video. Since you clicked on this video, I have a sneaking suspicion you probably want to know a little bit more about Moe Can Change, or the full technical title, AI in my Moe Can Change, Me and My Roid. This video is a bit hard to make. For one, the game was a huge part of my childhood. I remember having my very first smartphone that I got from Dollar General, and I downloaded this game because I was browsing Pixiv and Zero-Chan, I believe that was the name of the website. I remember browsing those and seeing an ad for this cute little anime girl game. I started creating the OCs and stuff that I still use today. In fact, my current appearance, the swirly glasses and everything, is pretty heavily influenced by the time in which I was playing this game pretty frequently. Oh, Kami-sama, that was when I was still in grade school. And even though I've since lost my save data multiple times, it has been a while. This game has been around for nearly 2 decades, more or less. Don't hold me to that. It's pretty reasonable to assume that one would download the game, uninstall it many times, especially if you're younger, or a teenager in my case. Oh, I just feel so ancient now. I'm a hag. Gameplay-wise, Moe Can Change is a pretty simple game. You name a cute girl, you design her appearance, and you unlock hair, eyes, and some other outfits in the shop by leveling up. Now, granted, today, these just aren't a thing anymore. They have dramatically changed the system of the game so that you don't really have to level up to get these eyes or hairstyles. And since I'm a huge weeb, I absolutely loved every single bit of this game, the art style, how cute it was, and I was pretty over the moon about making my own anime in quotation marks. For how bare bones the community aspect was in the game, and still kind of is, it was surprisingly still very populous. There was a lot of friends I was able to make there. Surprisingly, I still remember a few of them, even if we don't talk anymore. Hi, Akari, if you're there, just know I still think about you. And I still love Cud from Little Busters. Since the game's launch in the Western market, they have since added a messaging system and other things. And although it's still very bare bones and not quite as good as its sister app, Dream Girlfriend, it's still there and it exists. So that's something worth noting. So, why did I make this video? Other than just to ramble about my childhood? You probably didn't ask. But I'm going to answer anyway, because the game as a whole is just kind of a shell of its former self, at least in my eyes. While the new system is a lot better to look at, it's more streamlined, and it has skin tones, which is something that people have been asking for, and Dream Girlfriend had at launch, it's changed quite a bit, and the events costumes and the event exchange costumes don't really have the same oomph that they did. Now, granted, that's not to say that there aren't any pretty outfits, because there are still plenty of pretty outfits. But it seems like they're a little bit more stingy with things nowadays. The game's dip in popularity is such an interesting case to me. I wonder if it's because the Western market just doesn't care for how clunky and outdated the game still is, even with its makeovers, or if Dream Girlfriend actively took a lot of the same customer base, etc., that the game had. I'm not quite sure what it is, at least for the Western market. I know that over in Japan and the Eastern market, everything is still as it was. Moe Can Change is super popular there, and it's been going for so long now. And on the topic of the Japanese version of the game, there's a lot of stuff that was never carried over to the English version, or the global version, as I'm going to keep referring to it as. And I've always wondered why that was. See, with Dream Girlfriend, I can understand why it's a bit harder to transfer over personalities and etc. because you have to also align voices to them. But in Moe Can Change, it's all text. Now, there's always the topic of, well, we don't know if this is going to go well with the Western market, etc. And I can sympathize a bit there. Localization is always a really hard thing because you don't want to isolate the original fan base, the original, customers. And you also want to pull in newer customers. There's always going to be a huge divide between the existing otaku culture fan base and then the newer anime fans that come in. There's always going to be a massive divide between those two, and until we can stop being angry at each other, they're probably never going to 100% mesh in together. So localization can be hard, and I understand that, but I really do just feel like there's just not enough, passion, or maybe their attention is divided with their other games, because I know that Ambition, the company that publishes these games, also published the Bungo Stray Dogs mobile game, and I'm pretty sure they do a lot of licensing and stuff for other mobile games, just not in name anymore. So I just wonder if it's because they don't have the manpower to localize for Moe Can Change anymore, or there's no passion, or maybe they just have the game on little bits of life support. I'm not exactly sure. And it's kind of like watching a childhood friend that you've played with for a really long time move away. If you want the full core Moe Can Change experience but don't want it watered down in any way, shape, or form, play the Japanese version. It's probably not going to be the easiest thing if you don't know Japanese, but I would be lying if I didn't want to start learning Japanese purely because I wanted to play the Japanese versions of these games and just VNs and stuff in general. To end the video off, Moe Can Change was once a super popular dress-up simulation game that had a really loyal fan base. And there are still quite a few super loyal, dedicated Myroid fans who still love their Myroids even today and will never abandon them, at least until the game server shut down, like with Dream Boyfriend. That's another video I need to make and talk about, but that's for another day. If my coverage of this game has you interested, or if you want to give it a try, I highly recommend that you go try the global version for yourself. Maybe, just maybe, if I can get enough of you to go play the global version, maybe Ambition will start to see that people actually have a passion and love for this game again. But I really doubt that, as I'm a really small creator, and this is probably going to reach 500 people at most. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I want to make a lot more videos like this in the future. I just have to edit these things, and I have so much to edit. And don't forget, if you want to see more Moe Can Change content, there was also an anime short that was released for the game. You can find it here on YouTube. Just type in Moe Can Change and you'll find it pretty quickly. Bye-bye now. I've yapped a little too much.